Hello yogis, welcome. So this is a Vinyasa 2 class. My name is Kelly. We'll be together for 60 minutes today. So know that in your Vinyasa class, whatever class level you're taking, you can always modify postures or asanas to work for you. Always honoring your body, working at your own pace. Feel free to take breaks whenever you'd like. So for today's practice, if you're interested, I might have emailed you the link to the playlist. It's called Float. If you didn't get the email, you can go on my Spotify and it is under Float. So feel free to kind of cue that up and I'll let you know when you can start that playlist. So maybe just have it close to you. So props for today's practice, it would be nice to have a couple of blocks. You can just use them throughout your practice. And we are going to have an option to use them as we begin. So we're actually going to start in child's pose. And so you want the knees wide with the big toes touching. And I'm going to offer a variation with the blocks. So you can bring the blocks underneath the hands or even the wrists. As you kind of bring yourself down onto the mat, let the forehead touch down. And just start to relax here. So bringing the blocks into this, just leave a little bit more space to open the shoulders. If you don't like that variation, feel free to skip it. No need to use the blocks. And just begin to breathe here and notice how your body feels today. So we've got some things we're gonna work on today, and like the playlist suggests, one of those things is this idea of lightness or floating in your practice. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. We'll play with some of those today. And know that as we're moving through practice, if any of the jumping things that we're doing aren't working for you or your knees, just skip them. There are ways that you don't have to do them at all. So finding flight in your practice or floating a lot of times actually comes from the inner core strength. It's not something we think about, but that's really where you start to connect how to find flight, how to find lift, and how to find float in the practice. So as you're settling into child's pose or balasana, I want to talk to you a little bit about bandhas. So bandhas are considered locks in the body, and they can be thought of energetically. They can also be thought of physically. So two locks that I'd like you to think about today, or bandhas, are Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. So we'll start with Mula Bandha. So in your own body, Mula Bandha is also considered the root lock. It's kind of at the base of your body, the base of the spine. So I want you to imagine or take your intention there and see if you can kind of pull everything up. The best way to liken this is if you're in the middle of your urine stream going to the bathroom. If you go to stop that, if you feel that upward pull, that's kind of the idea of Mula Bandha. So you're pulling everything up and locking it in. Second bandha that I mentioned, Uddiyana Bandha, is more higher, kind of right in between the navel and the solar plexus chakra, and it's a lot of times where teachers tell you to pull your navel into your spine. That's part of the story. The whole story is thinking about almost like you have a corset on and that you're sucking everything in and up. So that Uddiyana Bandha is considered the upward flying lock. And it's really what helps us with that float, and it helps us with our arm balances. Both of these bandhas used together will help also to keep your spine strength. When you're twisting a lot in your practices, this is something you should always be thinking about, trying to reconnect in with Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha, seeing if you continually start to ask those things to engage, and then eventually, hopefully, you can actually keep them engaged for your entire practice. I know, sounds daunting, but just thinking about it at first will help to bring your intention there. I find that at first my nerves just didn't connect. There was no communication. It took time, but over time and constant asking and thinking about those things, I was able to start to connect those pieces together. Beautiful. Let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. You can stay exactly where you are, or I'll offer taking a little lateral stretch here. So the blocks can stay with you or you can lose them. Walk your hands over towards the right. So towards the right corner of the mat, just feeling a little bit more stretch in that left side body, left lung. Take a couple breaths here. Can you press a little bit more into the left hip? So pressing the back of the left hip down a little bit. You might feel a little bit more of that stretch. Beautiful, yogis. Let's walk back through center and then walk it over to the left. Again, towards that left corner of the mat, feel that stretch in the right side body, perhaps the right lung. And then see if you can press the back of the right hip down a little bit. And you might feel that stretch a little bit differently. Beautiful. Walking hands back to center. Begin to walk the hands back in towards the body. And we're going to sit on our heels for a moment. So you have blocks, perhaps you can sit on a block if you would prefer. We're going to find Hero's Pose or Virasana just for a moment. And work a little bit on a breathing exercise. So Kapalabhati breathing is working on kind of pumping the abdomen here. It works on kind of stoking the fire and waking everything up. It's a really nice breathing technique or pranayama to take before your practice or even when you first wake up in the morning. So different lineages of yoga practice this differently. For today's practice, we're going to work in and out through the nose. So you're only going to be exhaling through the nose. The inhale actually happens automatically. So the inhale happens, you force the air out by hugging the navel into the spine and squeezing the air out. The inhale is going to actually happen automatically. So don't think about breathing in, just let it happen. We'll take just like 60 counts of this. I'll count for you. And again, you're just moving your belly here. So let's take a clearing breath first. Inhale in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale and release. Seal the lips. Inhale in through the nose and begin. Exhale. Inhale all the way to the top. Hold the breath, suspend it. Exhale through the nose, hold at the bottom, suspend the breath. Beautiful, and then release. Just breathe in and out through the nose for a moment. Beautiful. So this breath really starts to ignite everything and lights a fire. You can do it for 60 counts or 2 minutes. Take a break, do it again. Don't do it so much that you become lightheaded, so you might need a shorter amount of time. We're going to take one more round before we begin our movement. So begin to prepare yourself. I like to place my hands on my thighs and straighten my arms so I remember not to lose that integrity of my core. Go ahead and begin. Inhale in through the nose, seal the lips, and exhale. Inhale up to the top, suspend the breath, hold. Exhale out through the nose, all the way to the bottom, suspend as you're empty and hold. Beautiful, and then release the technique. Just take a couple breaths in and out through the nose, just letting everything normalize. Beautiful, yogis. Go ahead and remove the block if you're sitting on one and then sit to the side. We'll kick our feet out in front of us. You can lengthen the legs out long for a moment, maybe bounce out the knees, a little self-massage. We're going to start to warm up the hips here. Beautiful. We're going to take a seated pigeon pose today. So bring your hands behind you, lean back, and then bend into the knees. Plant the soles of the feet onto the earth. I'm going to mirror you, so cross your left ankle over your right thigh. So you've got this figure 4 shape or pigeon shape here. You can flex the left toes if that feels good to you. And maybe you stay exactly here, or if you're not feeling this, press into your hands, lift your hips up, and move your hips a little bit closer to your front heel. And oftentimes you'll feel that a little bit more. So we're externally rotating that left hip, just starting to wake things up. Well, this is a great shape for the body. There are a lot of different orientations you can take this posture. If lying on your stomach in pigeon or half pigeon doesn't work for you, this is a good alternative to that. Beautiful. You can let yourself scoot back if you've scooted forward. Release that left leg, and you can stretch out the legs for a moment, bounce them out. And then we'll take that on the other side. So again, bend into the knees, plant the soles of the feet. This time we're crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. And you're flexing those right toes. If that feels good to you, you can stay exactly where you are. I can already feel I'm a little bit tighter on this side. You'll notice differences between the sides. Know that you can always take different variations on each side of a shape. If you'd like to get a little deeper, lift your hips and press yourself a little bit closer to your heel. And just bringing a little bit of that external rotation into that hip. We're also stretching out the inner groin. Sometimes you feel this in the outer hip as well. Beautiful. And if you haven't already, I forgot to tell you to start your playlist. So go ahead and start your playlist now. Beautiful. And then press yourself back, uncross the legs, and you can shake them out. Beautiful. And to continue to warm up today, we're going to find deer or 90-90 with the legs. So bring your left shin parallel to the short edge of the mat, and you can fit your right knee into your left instep here. So fingers can be out to the side. You can flex the toes if that feels good. It might be a little bit more open for you depending on your hips. I'm just going to stretch it out from here. As you inhale, reach the arms up over the top of the head. Beautiful. Bring the right hand down and reach the left fingertips over. Take a nice side stretch. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up to center. We'll take a side stretch the other way. Left hand down, reach your right fingertips up and over. You can bend into this elbow a little bit to get a little deeper. Rise up. We're going to take this into a twist. So just bring your left hand a little bit farther behind your body. Your right hand connects with your left knee and you gently twist to the left. Releasing your twist, just move your left hand back a little bit or out to the side. We're going to press ourselves up. So just press yourself up onto your shins and reach your right arm any amount up. You might need to turn the shoelace part of your right foot down here if that feels better. Beautiful. And then slowly lower everything down. Bring your hands behind you, bring your knees up, and then let your knees tent in for a moment, and then just begin to windshield wipe left and right a couple of times. Releasing that first side, and then we'll work into the second. All right, letting those knees fall over to the right. Now the right shin is parallel to the short edge of the mat. You can bring the left leg a little bit behind you. Again, you can flex those toes or have the left shoelace part of the foot turned down. So you're kind of almost in a half hero's pose here. So finding what works for you and just settling in for a moment. Again, noticing differences between the left and right side. As you're ready, inhale, reach the arms up over the top of the head. We're going to take that nice side body stretch. Bring your right hand down, reach your left fingertips across. Beautiful. Inhale, come up through center. We'll take it to the other side. Let your right hand down, reach your left fingertips. You can bend into that right elbow any amount. You rise up enough to take it into a twist. So bring the right hand a little bit farther behind you. Left hand, right knee. Gently twisting off to the right. twist, and then we stretch it out. So that right hand, any amount away from your body. Again, you might want to turn that left shoelace part of the foot down. Just press into your shins and begin to lift your hips up, and maybe your left arm rises up. Just stretch out, stretch for the psoas, the front of the hips. Beautiful. And then slowly lower down. Bring the hands behind you. Kick the feet out in front of you, and then locate your block. So if you have a block or something, bring it in between the knees. Again, we're going to kind of ignite the core and center in there. So we're going to find Navasana or boat pose. So the toes can be touching down here, or you could lift them up. Fingertips down, or again, you can lift them up, reaching the fingertips forward here. Navasana, boat pose. Beautiful. Let's find a little twist with this. As you inhale, reach up. Imagine you're holding a giant fireball. As you exhale, bring it over to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, bring it over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Beautiful. Inhale, center. Rise up. As you exhale, squeeze the block in between the knees. Find Ardha Navasana, half boat. Lower yourself down and hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Lower down, bring the knees up so the legs are now at a 90-degree angle. You can adjust the block a little bit if you'd like here. So we're going to have an option to take some yogi bicycles here. And I'm going to cue it with the block, but some people do not like this. So feel free to lose the block if you would like. You don't have to have the block to do yogi bicycles. Interlace the hands behind the back of the head. Elbows stay wide. So knees at a 90-degree angle here. Inhale. As you exhale, lift up. Connect your right elbow to the block and the left knee, and then let the right leg go long. Beautiful. And then bring the right knee back in. Release. Other side. Left elbow block and right knee. Left leg goes long. Beautiful. So you're taking this as slow or as fast if you'd like. You can do regular yogi bicycles if you'd like. Otherwise, if you'd like to challenge your brain a little bit, you can try it with the block. We'll continue on for a little bit of time here. Again, we're igniting the core, keeping the mind on the core, thinking about those bandhas, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Knees into the chest, lie down. You can set the block off to the side, and then let's take a full body stretch. Reach the legs out long, reach the arms out long. Beautiful. And then hugging the knees into the chest for a moment. Planting the feet down onto the mat. Holding on behind the back of the thighs if you'd like, rise up. Bring the hands behind you, fingertips pointing towards your body. We're going to take a reverse tabletop here. Inhale here. As you exhale, lift your hips up. Beautiful. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. We'll do 3 more. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. 2, inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. 1, inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful yogis. Bring your hips down. You can cross your ankles and come into a tabletop position. So finding your tabletop here, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll find a different variation here today. Let's take just a couple rounds of cow and cat. As you inhale, drop the belly, look up, tailbone up. Exhale, chin to chest, press the earth away. Beautiful, 1 more round. Inhale, drop the belly, look up, tailbone up. And exhale, chin to chest, press the earth away. Beautiful. Returning to your neutral spine. So we're going to keep our right knee bent here at 90 degrees. Just lift your right leg up and hover it. So your right knee is hovering off of the mat. And then bend at the left elbow if you'd like. So you kind of got like a half cactus arm here. So we're gonna work a little bit on this lateral movement out to the side. So as you inhale, lift your elbow and your knee away from your body. Keep everything bent. And then exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower it down towards the center. Inhale, out. Exhale, in. 2 more. Inhale, out. Exhale, in. Inhale, out and hold. This is awkward spinal balance. You can begin to straighten your arm and your leg if you like for just a moment. And then lower the right foot down. We're gonna find thread the needle. Let that left arm thread through. Come down onto your shoulder and the temple here. So the right foot is out, you're on your left shoulder. Right fingertips can be tented up here. You could reach up over the top of your head, or you could find a half bind behind your back if you would like. Maybe you stay exactly here, or if you'd start to like to work on your first float, see if you can begin to lift your right leg off of the mat. Your right foot. And you might find that you fall over right away, and that's okay. Flex the toes. Beautiful. Slowly lower down, unwind that bind if you've taken it. Right hand down, press yourself up, lift the left arm up, and then bring the left hand back down. Right leg comes back, bend into that right knee. Again, we find tabletop position. 1 round of cow and cat. As you inhale, drop the belly, look up, tailbone up. Exhale, chin to chest, press the earth away. Beautiful, coming back to that neutral spine. This time we hover the left knee off the earth. You can flex the toes if you'd like. Find that half cactus arm. So first start by hugging everything in towards the center line. We're gonna open up to the side. It's kind of a variation of fire hydrants. Inhale here and exhale. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bring it in. 2 more. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bring it in. Last one, we hold. Inhale, open it up. Lengthen that right arm and left leg out if you'd like. Awkward spinal balance. And let the left foot land down. We find thread the needle, so bring that right arm through this time. So on the right shoulder, the right temple. The left hand can just stay tented here, so this is a nice stretch as it is. You could also reach up or find that half bind around the back. And again, as long as it's not putting pressure on your neck, you can begin to see if you can lift that left foot off the mat any amount. Finding a little float. Core muscles in tight. Imagine that corset around your center, squeezing in 360 degrees. Beautiful, yogis. Let that left foot land back down. Release the bind if you've taken it. Right hand by the face. Come back up. Hands underneath the shoulders. Kick that left leg back and then bring the knee underneath the hip. And again, we'll take 1 round of cow and cat. As you inhale, drop the belly, look up. Tailbone up. Exhale, chin to chest, press the earth away. Beautiful. Coming back to your neutral spine. We're not done with our cores yet. From here, tuck your toes and just lift both knees up off of the mat. So this is kind of like a hovering tabletop position. I've also heard it called bear pose. So round the spine a little bit and see if you can bring the shoulder blades away from one another a little. And hug the navel into the spine. Holding here, this is a lot of strength work. Use your core to help you to lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. You can stretch it out a little bit if you'd like. Take your dog for a walk, kind of feel into it for a moment. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Finding your stillness, body looks like an upside down letter V. We're going to continue to warm up here using the core and that hover that we were just in. So as you inhale, roll forward into high plank first, bringing the shoulders over the wrists. Again, navel's into the spine. Body looks like a plank of wood. Inhale here. As you exhale, bend into those knees and find that bear pose or that hover. Hold here. And then lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. We'll do that 2 more times. As you inhale, roll forward to high plank. Exhale, bend the knees, hover them in bear pose, hold. And then lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. 1 more time. As you inhale, roll forward, high plank. As you exhale, bend the knees, hover, bear pose. And then lift the hips up high, downward facing dog. Yogis, inhale, look forward in between your fingers. Come up high onto the tiptoes. For a moment here, just lower your heels and lift them a couple of times. Keep a bend in your knees here as you do so. And imagine you're going to leap forward. We're not going to do it quite yet, but just taking this movement a couple of times. Beautiful. And then as you're ready, begin to tiptoe your feet forward to the top of your mat. Find your first forward fold or Uttanasana. Maybe 2 fist distance in between the 2 big toes. Keep a nice generous bend in the knees for the first one. You can wrap fingers around opposite elbows. Find ragdoll pose. Allow your hamstrings to wake up. Take a couple of breaths here. Beautiful, yogis. Coming back into your Uttanasana, forward fold. We'll lengthen it out, Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingertips slide to shins. Shoulders and hips are even. Lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. We'll do that again. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. 1 more time. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Reach the arms up over the top of the head. Connect the palms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Samasthiti. Beautiful. Release the arms. Inhale, reach them up. Interlace the fingers and then flip the palms up towards the sky. Try to bring the biceps back with the ears. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, tilt over towards your right. Inhale, come up through center. As you exhale, tilt it over to the left. From here, continue your circle all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms up over the top of the head. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Beautiful, release the arms. Inhale, reach them up. Again, interlace the fingers, maybe the awkward grip this time. Flip the palms up towards the sky. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, tilt over to the left. Beautiful. Inhale, come up through center. As you exhale, tilt it over to the right. Keeping the core in tight, complete the circle. Come all the way down, or half circle. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms up over the top of the head. And exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. We're going to move into Surya Namaskar A. So we'll do the first couple of slow, and then we're going to start to have the option to have hops forward and hops back, working on those floating techniques. Remembering, and I will repeat this again, if you are ever jumping back in your Vinyasa or your Sun A, you are going to be landing in Chaturanga with bent elbows. Very important. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, circle the arms up. As you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Plant the hands, step the feet back to high plank. Shoulders are over your wrists here. Take a nice deep breath in. Come forward on the toes. As you exhale, lower all the way down onto the belly. Hands underneath the shoulders, flip the toes over. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. As you inhale, rise up, cobra pose. Head and heart lift up. As you exhale, lower down, tuck your toes, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Beautiful, yogis. Now here's where we'll work on our first flow. We can work on starting to jump forward, and it might be a small jump at first. One of the most important things is remembering to bend the knees. So inhale, look forward, prepare. Come up high onto the tiptoes, bend the knees, and maybe hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Arms up over the top of the head. And exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. One more slow. Release the arms down. Inhale, reach them up. As you exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant the hands. The opposite foot steps back first. Find high plank, Balasana. Inhale, roll forward. As you exhale, either lower halfway or all the way to belly. Maybe you find Chaturanga Dandasana. As you inhale, either up dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale and release. Option again for that hop forward. Inhale, look forward, prepare. Walk, step, or jump to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Arms up over the top of the head. And exhale, hands to heart center. We have 2 more rounds of Surya Namaskar A. I'm now going to demo how you do a jump back, but remember, you're landing with bent elbows. You're landing in Chaturanga. Know if that's not for you, just feel free to skip this part. Take your variation of Sun A. Release the arms down. Inhale, reach them up. As you exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time plant the hands, bend the knees, hop back, find Chaturanga. My elbows are bent. As I'm ready to inhale, I find my up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward, prepare. Walk, step, or hop to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Arms up over the top of the head. As you exhale, fold it right back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, bend your knees, hop back, Chaturanga. As you inhale, find up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, look forward, prepare. Come up high to the toes, bend the knees, jump forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms up over the top of the head. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Bring the arms down by the side for a moment, Tadasana or mountain pose. Take a couple of breaths here. So you can use those jump backs and jump forwards in your Sun A if that works in your practice. If it does not, then skip it. That's absolutely okay. It is important that you land with bent elbows so as to not constantly over time create too much wear and tear in the shoulders. We tend to do a lot of Sun A's, so it's important you think about that. Beautiful yogis, continuing on with our practice today. We're gonna find Utkatasana, chair pose, I know everyone's favorite. Big toes touch, a little bit of space in between the heels, bend into the knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Reach your fingertips gently forward, sit down just a little bit of deeper, and even here, find a little bit of lightness or float here. So maybe you press the knees together, hug your navel into your spine, tilt your tailbone down. Inhale, reach the arms long. As you exhale, airplane your arms. Bring the arms back. So palms can be facing up or down. It's up to you. Find one point to look at on the floor. Drinking bird. See if you can begin to lift your heels up any amount. Working on balance here and still continuing to warm up the hips. Now from here, bring your chest down to connect to your thighs. Touch your hands down to the floor and lower your hips towards your heels. So we're in toe squat here. From here, you can stay where you are, or keeping the heels and toes together, just begin to let the knees come wide. And the hands can be out in front of you. You could walk them forward. I call this surrender. So finding a couple breaths here. So my heels are definitely lifted off of the earth, just for this variation. Now, if this feels good for you, you can stay here. If this doesn't feel good, you could simply sit down and watch this next part. So this next part comes a little bit from Kundalini. So this is from the Kundalini lineage, and this builds heat in the body. This is called froggy squats. But if your knees are even a little bit tricksies, I don't want you to do these. I don't want you to hurt your knees. You can just take them a little bit slower. For everyone else, bring your hands a little bit closer to your body. Inhale here. As you exhale, just press into your hands and lift your hips up. Your heels stay up. As you inhale, bring it down. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, lift it up. You can continue on with your own breath. You can inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Again, froggy squats. I'm sure there's a different name for this, but this is what I call it. Continue on. And this pretty quickly builds quite a bit of heat. And again, if your knees are bothering you, why are you doing this? Please don't. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Lift your hips up just for a moment, and we're going to widen our feet. Let your toes turn out and heels in. That whole thing was so that we're warmed up for Malasana or Yogi squat, also called garland pose. So toes are pointing the same direction as the knees, and for me that's pretty far out, but your toes could be pointing forward if that's what works in your body. Just take a couple of breaths here. Just warming up the hips. Full yogis, if you'd like, you could bring your hands onto the floor and find this a little bit deeper. So I'm going to turn to the side. So from here, we're going to play with being able to float back and take a vinyasa. So the hands are on the earth. Adjust them as you'd like, and then maybe you just find a little bit of buoyancy here. Your heels can come up. Remember, elbows are going to be bent. Land back in chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. Beautiful. From here, lift your left leg up. So we're in three-legged dog. For a moment here, just bend into the right knee. So we're going to play a little bit with hopping here. Look forward in between your hands. We're not going to hop anywhere, we're just going to hop up. So inhale here, as you exhale, just hop up for a step. Hop up again. Take a couple more. Just getting that feeling of lightness. You're using your left leg as a lever to help lift you up a little higher. Beautiful. And then bring your left leg down to meet your right, downward facing dog. Take the dog for a walk for a moment here. Beautiful. And then we'll take the other side. As you inhale, lift your right leg up. Again, bend into that left knee. So we need buoyancy here. And to do that, we need to bend into the knee. Again, you can look forward or down straight at your mat. Lift the right leg up and lift your left foot up off the mat. So just hop a couple times here. You'll find one side is a lot easier than the other. Beautiful. All right, and come back to your downward facing dog. From here, inhale, roll forward into high plank. We're going to come down into forearm plank. So bring your forearms down onto the mat. This is Vinyasa 2 after all. So forearms down. You can always have a block in between your hands if you would like here. Or you can even turn your palms to face up if you'd like to work there. So navel into spine, working a little more on the core. Inhale here. As you exhale, just hover your right knee down and then lift it up. Hover the left knee down, lift, hover, lift, hover, lift. Just bending into opposite knees, trying to keep the hips as still as possible, hugging the navel into the spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to your forearm plank, and then let your hips land down. Untuck the toes. So we've come into Sphinx pose for a moment. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Can you press into your forearms and your hands here? And lift the chest up a little bit. Just take a moment here. Imagine you could pull your chest forward as your hands are pulling back towards your body. Creating that little bit of leverage. You can tuck the chin into the chest for a moment if that feels good. Or you can let the head fall back and stretch out the front of the neck. Beautiful, yogis. From here, lower down, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, widen the knees. We sit ourselves back into child's pose for a moment. Take a couple breaths here in your child's pose. Just letting yourself recover, slowing the heart rate down, maybe taking 3 more breaths here. Beautiful, and let's rise up and find our neutral tabletop position. From here, we're gonna step our right foot in between our hands. So we're finding a supported low lunge. Left hand down onto the mat, reach the right arm up, easy twist. Just open everything up here. Beautiful. Bringing the right hand back down, begin to walk the hands back and straighten that front leg. So we've come into Ardha Hanumanasana, or half monkey splits. You can flex the toes in towards the face. You can stay here, or if you'd like to take a twist, tent the left hand down and reach the right arm up. Takes a little bit more balance. You might feel it a little bit more into the outer hip. Beautiful. And then right hand comes back down. Bend into that right knee, walk the hands forward. And then we're going to inhale, rise up into our Anjaneyasana. Beautiful, yogis. Bend a little bit deeper into that right knee. Really stretch out the front of the left hip flexor. Inhale here. As you exhale, we take an open arm twist. Left arm forward, right arm back. So you're looking over your right knee. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, hands come down. Tuck the left toes and spring up into your standing split. So you're lifting your left leg up. You're standing on your right leg. Fold just a little bit deeper. Try to keep all 5 toes pointed down. From here, again, we're going to play a little bit with hopping. So you can bring your hands forward underneath your shoulders. Now this doesn't have to be a big move. We're just going to switch out the legs a couple of times here. So bring the weight into the hands, look right in between your fingers. Bend into the right knee. See if you can lift up and switch the legs. So now the left foot is down, the right leg is up. Beautiful, we'll do that again. Bend into the left knee, lift and switch. Beautiful, do it 2 more times. Lift and switch, and then end with the left leg lifted, the right foot forward. Walk the hands back, and then bend into the right knee, let the left toes land down onto the earth. So now we're in supported high lunge. Inhale, chest comes forward. As you exhale, straighten those legs, find modified pyramid pose. You can have blocks here underneath the hands if you prefer. Beautiful, yogis. And then re-bend into that right knee. Lift your right arm up. We find easy twist. This time the left knee is lifted. Inhale here. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. As you inhale, use your strength. Rise up into your twisted crescent warrior. So keep the twist, just rise up. Inhale. And then as you exhale, find high crescent. So the right arm comes forward, you reach the arms up. Bend a little bit deeper into that right knee. Inhale. As you exhale, hands come down to frame your foot. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Either meet in down dog or take a vinyasa if you would like, of your choosing. Beautiful. From here, we come back into our tabletop position. So bring the knees down onto the mat, tabletop. And then as you're ready, step your left foot in between your hands. Supported low lunge. Once you get here, we'll find that twist. Right arm down, lift the left arm up. Easy twist. Knee is down, back toes are untucked. Inhale here, exhale, twist just a little bit deeper. Inhale here. Bring your left hand down, we find half monkey split. So begin to walk the hands back, straighten that front leg, perhaps flexing the toes in towards the face. Again, you have the option to stay here or you could find that twist. So tent the right fingertips, maybe lift the left arm up. You'll feel this stretch a little bit more into the outer hip. Beautiful. Inhale here. As you exhale, hands come down, re-bend into that front knee. And then as you inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. Spin the pinky fingers to face one another. Bend just a little bit deeper into that left knee. So really feel the stretch in the front of the right hip. You can move the right knee back if you'd like. We'll take an open arm twist. Inhale here. As you exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Gentle twist, looking over that left knee. Reaching the fingertips away from one another. And then inhale, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, hands come down. Tuck your right toes, and again we find standing splits. So lift off that back leg, find your standing splits. All 5 toes are facing towards the floor. Couple breaths here. Again, we find that lightness, that float. Bring your hands forward so they're underneath your shoulders. So look down in between your fingertips here. Find a bend in that left knee. That's very necessary. We're going to switch out the legs again. Remember, if this is not for you, just skip this part. Otherwise, jump and switch. Bend the knee, jump and switch. 2 more times, jump and switch. 1 more time, jump and switch. We end with the right leg lifted, the left foot forward. Walk your hands back, and then bend into that left knee, let the right toes land down. Again, we find that easy twist. Right hand down, left arm lifts up. This time the right knee is lifted, or the back knee. Beautiful. And then we find that lightness, that float. Can you lift up into your twisted crescent warrior? Beautiful. And then from here, find your high crescent, reaching the arms up, again spinning the fingers to face one another. We have the choice here to find floating pyramid, or you can bring the hands back down. Hands can support or not, floating pyramid. Beautiful, and then re-bend into that left knee. Inhale, rise up, high crescent. As you exhale, hands come down, step the left foot back to meet the right. Take a vinyasa or simply meet in downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale, and release. Beautiful. So we're going to work on that float a little bit to try something a little different here. Again, if this doesn't work in your practice, you can skip it. But here's the choice. As you inhale, lift your left leg high, 3-legged dog. So we've been jumping up. Now we're going to see if we can jump the right foot a little forward. And again, this might not be for you, but otherwise you can try it. Look forward, bend into that right knee. Inhale, lift and spring up. And then let the left toes land down at the back of the mat. And I have to adjust a little. And then as you inhale, we rise up into our high crescent warrior. So oftentimes you'll find one side is going to be a lot easier than the other. Left heel is lifted, inhale, reach. As you exhale, hands to heart center, open it up, warrior 2. Bend a little bit more deeply into that front knee. Flip the front palm, peaceful warrior, inhale. As you exhale, side angle, right forearm on the right thigh, left fingertips reaching up. Or you can reach the left fingertips up and over, Utthita. Beautiful. Take a breath here and exhale. As you inhale, take it up and back, peaceful warrior. And as you exhale, windmill the hands down to the inside of the right foot and then turn the left heel up. So we found our lizard lunge. We'll stay here for just a moment, taking a couple breaths. So feeling that stretch in the right hip. And then eventually we're going to find that little bit of float or lightness and see if you can step your left foot up to meet your right, and we find that yogi squat or malasana. We'll just be here for a moment. We're going to have the choice like we did at the beginning of class. From malasana to put the hands down and step the feet back or hop the feet back to find a vinyasa. Or I'm going to give you the option to start to work on your ninja escape out of crow pose. So you can find crow pose, and we're going to work on shooting the legs back. A lot of this is not thinking about it, just letting it happen, and it's a lot of core strength. So I'll show it to you, but again, you can skip it if you'd like. We're not focusing a lot on crow. We're just going to be there for a moment. So find your Vinyasa, look forward, lift your toes. As you're ready, hug the navel into the spine, shoot the legs back into Chaturanga, and then as you inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath here, just recover. And again, maybe you just jumped back from Vinyasa, maybe you stepped back, whatever you did, it's absolutely okay. Beautiful. We'll take the second side. As you're ready, lift the right leg up. And again, we're going to find that hop forward, but if it doesn't work for you, just bring your left leg forward instead. Inhale here, bend into that left knee, look forward, step the left foot to the top of the mat, hop it, and then let the right toes land down. As you inhale, rise up, high crescent warrior. Bend a little bit deeper into that left knee, press the back of the right knee up towards the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, hands to heart center, we open it up, warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse the warrior, inhale. As you exhale, side angle, Parsvakonasana, the left forearm onto the left thigh, right fingertips reaching up. Or you can find extended side angle, right fingertips reaching up and over. Beautiful. From here, we reverse the warrior, take it up and back. And then as you exhale, windmill the hands down to the inside of the left foot. Let the right heel come up. You can toe heel the left foot out a little bit if you'd like. We find that lizard lunge. A couple moments here. You can always drop the back knee if you'd like. Beautiful, yogis. Tuck those back toes. If you've untucked them, you're going to step that right foot up to meet the left. So again, we found yogi squat or malasana at the top of the mat. Only here for a couple of breaths. Again, we're using this as a transition. You can either step or hop back from here, or you can find crow pose for a moment to see if you can work on that float back. So finding Vinyasa or crow pose, be sure you're looking forward. Inhale here. As you exhale, shoot the legs back. Find Chaturanga. As you inhale, lift up, upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, yogis. 3 breaths here in downward facing dog. You can walk it out or stay static for a moment. Just recover. Beautiful, yogis. On the end of your third breath, we're going to practice maybe jumping forward this time into our malasana or yogi squat. Again, if this is not for you, then feel free to skip it. Inhale, lift the heels, look forward, bend the knees, hop all the way forward to your malasana or yogi squat. Just for a moment here. And then we get to sit back down on our booties and find Navasana pose, so boat pose. The toes could be down or lifted. We've been here before. You could lift the arms up. You could straighten the legs if that's in your practice. We'll just be here for a moment. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to find Gomukhasana. So begin to cross your left leg over your right, and then bring yourself down. So we find cow-faced pose here. So the left leg is on top, the right leg on bottom, and see if you can get the knees pointing forward and stacked. You might need to use a block in between the legs. You have the opportunity to do that. Maybe the bottom leg is straightened out long if you prefer Ardha Gomukhasana, but make sure that you're not hyperextending that bottom knee. From here, you can find any amount of fold forward. This is a really deep stretch for the outer hips. Actually externally rotating the hips, but a lot of times you feel it down the sides of the legs, the piriformis, the IT band. Beautiful yogis, begin to rise up. Bring your hands behind you. You're going to uncross the legs and again find your Navasana boat pose. So we're going to work here on a little rock and roll vinyasa if you would like. If this is not for you, feel free to skip it. You can just meet in downward facing dog. Otherwise, we're going to build a little momentum and see if we can roll over the knees and shoot the legs back. I'm going to show you from the side. So for me, I cross my ankles because it just makes it easier for me. All right, so begin to rock back and forth a couple of times. Make sure you're somewhere on your mat that works for you. And then eventually, once you've gotten the momentum, you roll up over the knees, shoot the legs back. They will uncross, I promise. You're in Chaturanga. You find your upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful yogis. One more side. We have one more chance to jump forward into our yogi squat. As you inhale, look forward, prepare. Come up high onto the toes, bend the knees, sit back, and then jump forward. Find your yogi squat just for a moment here. And then slowly, mindfully, let yourself sit down and find that boat pose, Navasana. Beautiful. From here, again, we find Gomukhasana. So this time we're crossing the right leg over the left. So the right leg is on top, closest to the body. Trying to stack the knees to the best of the ability. You can bring a block in between the knees or underneath the bottom knee. You could also sit on a block if you would like. Finding the variation that works for you, and again, you can always straighten the bottom leg if you prefer. Just make sure you're not hyperextending the knee. The bottom of the knee or the back of the knee should not be touching the earth. If it is, you're hyperextending and you need a blanket or something underneath it. You can begin to fold forward any amount if that feels good in your body. Beautiful yogis, from here, walking the hands back towards the body, beginning to rise up. And we have that opportunity to find one more rock and roll vinyasa. First, lean back, uncross the legs. You can shake them out a little bit if you'd like. I'm going to turn to the side. And again, maybe you just decide to step back into down dog, or if you'd like to play, maybe cross the ankles, begin rocking back and forth, building up momentum. Once you find your momentum, roll over the knees, shoot the legs back, find Chaturanga. As you inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful yogis, bring the knees down onto the mat, walk the hands back towards the knees, and sit over to the side. Kick your feet out in front of you. Just bounce out the knees for a moment, maybe a little self-massage for the legs. Beautiful, and as you're ready, bend into the knees, plant the soles of the feet onto the earth, hold on behind the back of the thighs, and slowly lower yourself down onto the earth. So we did quite a bit of core work today. I'll offer just a nice bridge sequence to end, and know that you can find supported bridge here, bringing a block underneath the sacrum. Or if it feels good in your body, we can take some rounds of rolling bridges. If you're in supported bridge, just stay there. We're taking the rolling bridges. As you inhale, lift your hips up. Feet are about hips width distance, and then arms up over the top of the head. And as you exhale, slowly lower everything back down. Stretching out the front of the core. As you inhale, rise up, arms up. And exhale, slowly lower down. Beautiful, one more round. As you inhale, lift up. And exhale, slowly lower down. If you're in supported bridge, know that you could stay there, and you can even lengthen the legs out long. Otherwise, maybe you hug the knees into the chest, give yourself a little rock left and right. If there are any other postures you would like to take to complete your practice, feel free to do so. If you'd like to end with a twist or a happy baby, feel free, perhaps even a plow pose, halasana, letting the toes come up over the top of the head. when you're ready, slowly and mindfully working your way into your final Shavasana. So we're releasing everything now, releasing the bandhas, releasing all muscular engagement. Relax the jaw, one of the places that we tend to hold tension. Send breath there. Take a full body scan. Notice how your body feels. So notice what came up for you in today's practice. Floating can be a lot of fun. It can also be very frustrating. So I can tell you in my own practice that ninja escape out of crow took me exactly a year, or maybe even a little more than a year. And I'm the type of person that when I was younger and growing up, I realized this now, I don't do things that I'm not good at. If I would try something and I wasn't good at it, I'd be like, oh, I don't like that, I'm not doing it. But I realized later on in life, it was that challenge. I wanted to be good at things, I wanted to be perfect. So what yoga taught me, when I first tried to do that, I literally fell on my face. And there was just no communication there, and the teachers kept telling me, it comes from your core, it comes from your core. I kept saying, there's no communication. That brain wire just wasn't there to the nervous system. But I kept trying, and it tells you the persistence and patience actually works. It's the only thing in my life I've ever kept with and not given up on when I wasn't good at it. And it did pay off, but it was one of those things, just one day I went to try it, and it all of a sudden happened. And a lot of times our minds get in the way. So if you can try to disconnect from your mind a little bit and just trust and shoot the legs back, a lot of times they just go back. I've seen somebody do it the first time they tried it, and it really doesn't have a whole lot to do with your fitness a lot of times or how buff you are. It's about that inner core strength. So if it's not easy for you, if one leg comes back at a time and it looks like a hot mess, that's okay. Just keep practicing it. Practice it every day, because one day all of a sudden it'll happen. And it's one of those moments when it does and you're like, whoa, what just happened? And it's super cool. It teaches you that patience really does pay off. Yoga is a lifelong practice. For a reason I don't understand, but I do it myself. We expect when we go to yoga that 3 weeks after going to yoga, we should be able to do all of these postures and gracefully jump into a handstand. Anything else we tried, if we tried to learn dancing for the first time or choreography, this wouldn't happen, we know this. So take the time. Remember, yoga is a lifelong practice, have fun with it. If something's not fun and you're drilling it too much, leave it for a little while. Practice something else. Do things that you enjoy, but do challenge yourself sometimes. Yogis, you can remain in your final Shavasana if you would like, or you could join me in a comfortable seat to close out your practice. Once you reach your comfortable seat, bringing the hands to heart center, pressing your thumbs into your sternum, sternum into the thumbs. This is Anjali Mudra. You can close your eyes and tuck your chin into your chest. Just take a couple of breaths. Yoga is such an amazing practice, but I do like to keep it real sometimes. Sometimes it can be frustrating and hard. And know that that's part of your yoga practice. It really does teach you a lot about yourselves. And it means so much to me that I get to share with you. Yogis, the light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in you. Namaste.